Whether you're masking at work or in relationships or in social settings, we will explore the emotional toll it takes and share practical strategies for you to embrace your true authentic self and show up for your ADHD symptoms. Do you ever feel like you're wearing a mask, pretending to be someone you're not just to get through the day? If you're nodding along, this video might be for you. Today, we'll talk all about ADHD and masking, what it is, how it shows up in all the different areas in your life, and also strategies for you to unmask and feel more empowered. Workplaces are often designed with a one-size-fits-all mentality, and for those of us with ADHD, that can make masking feel like a survival skill because we feel like we just need to fit in at work and we don't want to stand out. And that might look like you're over preparing for meetings to avoid forgetting any details or being caught off guard. It might also be that you avoid asking any questions out of fear of being perceived as incompetent, or you might be suppressing your stimming behaviors like tapping or doodling during long meetings. That can, of course, then lead to mental fatigue because you're constantly suppressing all of these behaviors. And if you're constantly masking at work, that could eventually lead to burnout and just feelings of inadequacy. Because even when you're overachieving, you might constantly feel like you're not performing at the perfect level, or you're not able to truly ask questions or show up as your true authentic self. So some strategies for you to unmask at work could be embracing more transparency, and especially towards very trusted colleagues or trusted friends in your company. So for example, you might be able to say, sometimes I just need extra reminders because I process information differently, but it does not affect my ability to do great work and perform well at work. You can also leverage different tools and accommodations like scheduling apps, noise canceling headphones, or you can ask for a standing desk to make the work life feel more ADHD friendly. You can also take micro breaks, so you can introduce more stimming and stretching, or you can go take a walk around the stairwell to the coffee shop to just incorporate more of these micro brains for your brain and for yourself to just recharge every now and then during work. When I was still masking at work, I remember that I constantly was over preparing for every presentation, work meeting, and I was triple checking every detail to avoid making any mistakes, and that was really exhausting. So when I was still working in industry, I turned to one of my managers and shared with her my struggles, and also asked for specific accommodations that I knew would be very helpful for me. And that really helped me while I was working in industry, just to not constantly feel super overwhelmed and exhausted. Besides masking at work, you can also potentially mask in a relationship, because ADHD can affect every part of our life, and it can also affect how we show up in relationships. And masking often means hiding our struggles to avoid any form of conflict or judgment. And possible signs that you're masking in a relationship could be that you're showing people-pleasing tendencies, you are constantly over-apologizing for your ADHD symptoms, so like forgetting something, or your impulsivity, or you keep quiet and you don't really share your emotional struggles or more about how ADHD might be difficult for you to manage because you don't want to feel high maintenance. And if you're constantly masking in a relationship, whether that's a romantic relationship, a friendship, with your family members, it can lead to feeling inadequate and unseen, and it could also make you feel kind of resentful towards the other person because they don't seem to understand what you're going through. If you notice that you're masking in your relationship, what can you do to unmask and open up more? So firstly, it could be helpful to have an open conversation with your partner, your friend, your family member, and share, for example, that you're struggling with your working memory and you forget names or dates very easily. And then you would be able to brainstorm together what you can do to support each other and make sure, for example, that you're not forgetting about any events or dates that you have had planned. It's also really important to learn to set boundaries. And that can help with any masking and also in general with your energy levels, burnout, and so on. But it's really important for you to learn how much you can take on and also learn to say no. And you don't always have to explain yourself if you're saying no or you can't make it to a certain event that you were invited to. It can also be a great step to just open up more to your partner, family member, friend, and share how ADHD affects your day-to-day life. So for example, once I shared with my partner how I struggle with time management and it's hard for me to keep time in mind and not completely blank out and forget that many hours have passed and now it's time for cooking or whatever we wanted to do together. Once I shared it, we were able to brainstorm solutions and find ways to support each other more to make the relationship itself even better. In social settings, masking can also often lead us to playing certain roles just to fit in, and sometimes at the expense of our true self. So some signs that you're masking in certain social situations could be that you're mimicking the behaviors, the tones, or the interests of others just to blend in more. You might be suppressing sensory overload in like loud or crowded spaces, even when it feels incredibly overwhelming and overstimulating. You might be avoiding speaking up in a group or a conversation to hide your impulsivity or in general your ADHD symptoms. And when you're masking in many social settings, that can really disconnect you from your true self, and that can lead you to constantly analyzing and adapting to other people. And of course, long term, that can have an impact on your mental health and your well-being. So if you're finding that you're masking in different social settings, it could be very helpful to just find a social event that actually aligns with your energy levels and your mood and what you're interested in. So maybe you can find and join a book club if you're interested in that, or a pottery group, or a neurodivergent community that you feel more comfortable opening up to and being your true self. You can also think about what parts of you are important to you to share, and then reveal these small and authentic parts of yourself to see how they're being received. It's also great if you can join an ADHD support group or different communities. Like for example, in our group coaching, it's so great that different ADHDers can come together and all of us can be so authentic and we can share our challenges, we can share our successes, our wins, and it's just great to see that everyone is accepted and everyone is able to show their true self. Masking isn't just exhausting, it can really rob you in your true understanding of who you really are. And long-term masking could also lead to some kind of identity confusion where you lose touch of your true likes, your dislikes, your strength. It can also really have an emotional toll on you, and it could create anxiety-like feelings, burnout, or just feeling very, very isolated from yourself and other people around you. So you could start with just more low-stakes environments, or the environments you feel more comfortable in, or other neurodivergent and ADHDers are present, and start being more open or sharing these tidbits about yourself. It's also so important to know and explore your strengths and play towards them, such as your creativity, your innovation, your resilience, and really play towards your strength and level them up even more and use them more and more, and then find the tools for any challenges that you are experiencing. And I know masking is kind of a survival mechanism for many of us ADHDers, but it does not have to be your constant and forever reality. By recognizing when you're masking and in what situations, you can really take steps to unmask and just rediscover your authentic self and be proud of who you are, even when your ADHD symptoms are sometimes just hard to manage or life becomes overwhelming. And please remember, if you're unmasking, this definitely is not about perfection. It's all a progress, and you don't have to truly unmask in every social situation, every event. That might also be unrealistic, but just slowly starting to unmask in these lower stake situations or in environments you feel really comfortable in can already be such an amazing start and can already make such a big difference. If this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe, and share in the comments how you're starting to unmask and embracing your true self. Please remember that you're not alone and we're all in this together, and we can support each other and we can create a world that celebrates neurodiversity. Thank you all for watching this week's video, and I'm so excited to see you all next week in the next video. Bye!